I'm Judy Sue. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning. We are on a little earlier this morning to bring you the latest on the changing weather that's happening today. Our Jessica D'Onofrio has a look at how Chicago is preparing to deal with the snow. Roz Varon is tracking any early issues for commuters, and we start with Tracy in the Weather Center on this system. Hey, Trace.
And good morning. And right now, everything is quiet and calm. We don't have any snow or any messy weather in the area at this moment. But I do want to show you where it is falling. And it is just starting to nudge its way up into Iroquois County, so still a ways away from the city. Over in Rensselaer and Remington, Indiana, however, you're starting to see this snow, and it is lifting northward. Now, we do have numerous alerts that are going to go in place, and these will go into effect at 9 o'clock this morning. A blizzard warning in effect across northwest Indiana. As you can see, this does include Lake as well as Porter County, and then down into Jasper, Newton, and Benton. Also Kankakee. You will see this blizzard warning go into effect later on this morning. And this is for the combination of snow that is going to be falling heavily, especially during the afternoon and evening commute. I think the afternoon and evening rush is going to be most impacted, as well as potentially tomorrow morning. But we have winter storm warnings that will go into effect again at 9 a.m. this morning across Cook and Will counties, and now Lake County, Illinois, being added to the winter weather advisory area. So again, numerous alerts. I'll be going through what these all mean throughout the morning. But as we look at conditions right now, everything is very quiet. It's 35 degrees in Schaumburg, 35 degrees right now in Glen Ellen, 37 degrees currently in Hammond, Indiana. So the snow is going to be picking up, especially as the morning commute winds down. We'll talk much more about all of that coming up. But let's check in with Roz.
Weather. This is a deadly crash that happened shortly after 2 o'clock this morning, outbound just past LaGrange Road. It's involving a semi and a car. And as a result, right around LaGrange, we've got the 3 lanes closed, but then you have to do a weave. They open up those 3 lanes, the left lanes, and the right lane is open because that's where we have one of the other vehicles. So everything has to stay in place while state police conduct their investigation. So it's going to be confusing. It is causing a little bit of a backup. Be aware of it. They're going to be out there for a while, so you may want to avoid that spot for the time being. Now, elsewhere on the Stevenson, we're looking at overnight road work. There's a lot of overnight road work going on right now. Crews are working inbound from King Drive to Lakeshore Drive, and then southbound Lakeshore Drive, the ramp to the outbound Stevenson is closed as all part of this overnight road work that continues until 5 o'clock. Want to take a look outside because we can...
To prepare for this winter weather coming through, Jessica joins us now live from the Chicago Skyway. Jess.
Yeah, Terrell, the Chicago area is certainly gearing up for this storm. As you mentioned, we are on the Chicago Skyway. High winds have already rolled in.
For the conditions.
The city wants people to slow down today, and they're warning people that since it will be so windy, that wind could possibly blow the snow back onto the streets, so they will continue plowing. Now, ComEd says they're also prepared for this winter storm. They have extra staffing in place, and they have equipment ready to go in case of any power outages. Reporting live on the Skyway, Jessica D'Onofrio, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Jessica,
We have some breaking news from overnight. The storm system working its way into our area has left its mark on the south. Pensacola, Florida is the latest location to report a confirmed tornado. There are reports of damage and injury. Break is canceled at Chicago State University. The university is also moving up graduation because it is running out of money.
At our end, it's all quiet. We're kind of easing into this, and yesterday I talked about how most of the snow was going to begin for most of us as the morning commute was winding down. I still see that occurring, unless, of course, you're in Rensselaer, Remington, Indiana, down toward Watseka. You're watching us from those areas, and the snow is beginning there, and it is lifting northward. So let's take a look at some of these alerts that are in place. First of all, we do have this winter weather advisory. Lake County has been added to it, as well as DuPage, Kendall, and Grundy counties. And a winter weather advisory just suggests that there's going to be some weather that is going to create some difficult travel conditions. So that goes into effect at 9 o'clock. We have the winter storm warning in effect for Cook and Will County tomorrow morning. This is for that combination of windy conditions as well as some snow accumulations and poor visibility too. But just upgraded, and I was talking to Gino out at the National Weather Services about 2 o'clock this morning. And he was saying, yeah, I think we're going to need to put a blizzard warning in effect across northwest Indiana, as well as into Kankakee County. Goes into effect at 9 o'clock this morning, stays in effect until midnight tonight. This is for the combination of strong gusty winds, reducing visibility during that time, next to nothing as well this morning. And that snow is lifting northward in and across northwest Indiana. So by that time, if you're in Hobart, Maryville, Cherville, Valparaiso, you're starting to see that snow moving in. And it is going to be snowing around Kankakee. You see, it still takes a while for it to get to the city. I think it's a little slow on the move. I think it will get into the city here easily between about 10 and 11 o'clock this morning. And then once it starts snowing in the city, it's probably going to keep going. And I still maintain that the afternoon and evening commute is going to be the most impacted by this storm system. What's going to be impacted as far as tomorrow morning, and there you see tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., the snow winding down, certainly here on most of the Illinois side, but we are still going to have those strong gusty winds, and that's what's going to add to the difficult travel conditions for us for tomorrow morning's commute. Let's go over to Roz because she has had some impact on travel, but
Just past LaGrange Road, this was a deadly crash involving a semi and another vehicle, and they've got 3 lanes closed in kind of a weird weave because the semi ended up on one side and the car ended up on another. And while state police conduct their investigation, they need to leave everything in place. So it is causing a backup almost from First Avenue to LaGrange and then right around that tri-state. It's just going to be kind of messy around there, an area definitely to avoid for the time being. Now, lots of road work happening at the Jane Byrne interchange. Inbound on the Eisenhower from Morgan to Halstead, they've got the 3 left lanes closed and no access to the outbound Kennedy and no access to eastbound Congress. Here's the snapshot. So everything is forced.
You're watching Judy Sue, Terrell Brown, weather with meteorologist Tracy Butler, and Roz Varen's traffic. ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 4:30 continues.
With a big victory in the Nevada caucuses while the Democrats meet voters during a town hall in South Carolina. ABC's Kenneth Moten tells us how the race is heating up less than a week before Super Tuesday.
we wanted to join you a little bit earlier this morning just to give you an idea of what is going to be happening today. Meteorologically speaking, all is quiet around the area right now, but I do want to show you what is on the way. And right now, we're starting to see perhaps a little bit of a mix of precipitation. I am concerned there could be some icing taking place around Rensselaer, a little sleet snow mix there. This is lifting northward around Watsika, so Kankakee, you haven't seen it just yet, but it is coming your direction. Let's go through these winter alerts once again. Winter storm warning. These go into effect at 9 o'clock this morning. So once again, kind of as the morning commute is winding down, we really wind up with the impact. Blizzard warnings going into effect across northwest Indiana as well as in Kankakee County. And this goes into effect this morning for Kankakee at 6 a.m., stays in effect through 9 p.m., but the blizzard warnings in northwest Indiana go into effect at 9 o'clock this morning. Here's our future cast. 8 o'clock this morning has that snow lifting northward, blanketing northwest Indiana. You can see it's still going to take a while. I think this is a little slow on the move, at least here in the city. Moving into the city probably before noontime here. You can see still west and north. This future cast does not have much happening in those areas. And then it winds down as far as falling snow here in Illinois by tomorrow morning's commute. But I still think that's going to be impacted by the residual snowfall that we are going to get, as well as some strong gusty winds. There you see by noontime, and now this is one particular model, has nearly an inch of snow here in the city and about 2 inches of snow by about 4, 5 o'clock here this afternoon and this evening. Bear in mind, if this storm system still moves a little farther to the north and west, we could see some higher totals here in the city. And this is a situation where in southeast Cook County, we could get 8 inches of snow, like toward Gary and Calumet City. Still in that heavier corridor of snow is Kankakee toward Gary and east of that. So northwest Indiana still going to be the most severely impacted. Right now, 35 degrees at O'Hare. The AccuWeather real feel is 24. You will notice those winds already picking up around the area this morning. Temperatures are mainly in the mid-30s. So a broader look satellite and radar picture. The clouds are definitely here. The precipitation is lifting northward, and that is coming our way. Snow developing here this morning, this afternoon, and the evening commute are going to be. So I do anticipate some lakeshore flooding taking place, too.
Okay, a number of things to keep
Yeah,
in mind today.
a lot of different
Yeah.
alerts.
Got it. Very Trace. Roz,
You could run into problems. So seriously consider public transportation. If that is an option for you, we will monitor Metra CTA pace all morning long and let you know if we run into any problems. But for now, that looks good. Most of the expressways are in good shape. The one thing that we continue to keep an eye on is that outbound Stevenson just past LaGrange. There's the snapshot from the IDOT website, and you can see the traffic is backing up already, approaching that incident. It was a deadly crash that happened a couple of hours ago on the outbound side just past LaGrange, and they still have 3 lanes of traffic closed for the ongoing investigation. Now, other than that, we're not seeing any issues or problems out there, so the travel times are going to be low on the majority.
1995. And we are counting down to the Oscars, and the final votes came into the Academy just yesterday.
the counting is happening right now, and it is a complicated process with heavy security. ABC's Brandy Hitt shows us how it's done.
Words for the weather here, unless you want snow. And if you live in northwest Indiana, that's still looking to be where some of the heaviest bands are going to set up. Here's a look at the radar as we see it at this moment. And there you see the snow is lifting up through Iroquois County. So if you're in Watseka, if you're over toward Rensselaer or Remington, Indiana, that's where that snow is falling now. Blizzard warnings are now in effect. Actually, they go into effect at 9 o'clock this morning across northwest Indiana. Russ?
Getting word of a possible semi-fire. Could be a break fire, but nonetheless, it's inbound on the 290 right around Irving Park. So we've got a lot of emergency crews responding there. And then we've got a crash. This is to the south, westbound I-80 at Route 47. We also still have problems on the Stevenson, which we'll talk about in just a bit. Let's take a
But there are some things to keep an eye out for, some warnings that have come into effect here, or will be a little bit later on. And some issues on the radar. We'll talk about that in just a sec. Good to be with you. I'm Terrell Brown.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm Judy Sue. Thanks for joining us. That snow you see behind us, that's coming later.
But primarily far southern Jasper and Newton counties. So if you're in Gary, if you're in Valparaiso, you'll see that blizzard warning. It goes into effect this morning at 9 a.m. As you can see, stays in effect until midnight tonight. So you're not seeing any of that snow around Gary or Michigan City, Valparaiso, or DeMott just yet. But that blizzard warning will go into effect for you. Our temperatures right now are in the mid-30s. So still a fairly quiet temperature morning and a mild temperature morning at that as well. 35.